Why? Why? Yes, sir. Hairless here. Hat on. If I had a subscriber for every second it took me to put on this hat under the headphones and make sure the headphones are on well, I'd have a lot of subscribers. So here we are. It's nearly Christmas. I hope you're having a lovely December. Pentatonix, Oh Holy Night. This is my favorite carol. Originally in French, Cantique de Noël, and the poem, the music was set to Minuit Chrétien, meaning midnight Christians. Over the last 2 Christmases that my channel has existed, so that's just over a year ago now at the time of this release, we've seen a number of different versions of Oh Holy Night and done reactions to them. They're varying it in style, in genre, some are a cappella, some are not. So if you're interested in them or any other Christmas songs that we've done, you can find them all in my Christmas playlist up here. This version here, Pentatonix, I put out a poll last month and the question was, if you could have me do a video on any one single Christmas song or performance, what would it be? I didn't give options, it could have been anything in the world, but this was the answer that appeared the most. So I am excited. In my head, Pentatonix could do so many things with it. Recently, we've seen a lot of Scott taking over the bass, which is quite a new thing for me. Will that happen? I'm sort of expecting Mitch to take the really climactic chorus moments, or at least one of them. Maybe Kirsty as well, belting. Also, based on some of the recent Pentatonix reactions we've done, I'd be expecting a key change or 2 or 3 or 4, who knows? So I'll stop my chit chat. Let's get straight into it. Just a very quick tease before we start. This is not the only version of Oh Holy Night that Pentatonix have done. This is with Matt. It's a recent one from last year. I've received many requests for an older version they did with Avi. There's no video for that one, and it's only about 2.5 minutes compared to this, which is about 4 minutes. I want to see that one as well, so I'll be including that at the end of this video over on my Patreon, which you can find linked below.
Oh, holy night. The stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and never pining, till He appeared in the soul.
Okay, Oh Holy Night, I've said this in my previous reactions, it's a song where there's no real natural place to pause because verse just goes straight into choruses. It's one of the reasons why it's my favorite carol. But there are a number of things that I would quickly like to go over before I forget. So if you don't want to pause with me and hear my thoughts, go to the timestamp. Okay, we've just started and already the style has completely changed. I should have seen that coming, to be honest. I didn't mention that in my introduction. The same stylistic influences as we saw in their Oh Come All Ye Faithful, or even The Sound of Silence. All my previous Pentatonix reactions, by the way, if you have missed any, can be found in my Pentatonix playlist up here. So, you know, there's a bit of a rhythmic groove going on, shall we put it that way. First thing I was going to say, everyone walks in their white outfits. I'm no fashionista, I'm sure you can tell. These guys are, I did just think Mitch was wearing a dressing gown. I think you call it a bathrobe over there in the States. I'm not hating, I just was not expecting it. But I do like all of their outfits. I just thought that was, well, unexpected. Typically in music, and I'm going to regret this as soon as I say it, but typically we might expect the opening of a song to effectively act as a little glimpse into what kind of things we might be expecting with the rest of the song. In a cappella it's different, there's often so much variety, especially with Pentatonix. I always say there's no point trying to guess what's going to happen because anything can and you're always going to be wrong. Structure is a big part of that. You get your time signature, your key signature, your phrasing, whether it will be 4-bar phrasing, 2-bar phrasing. Here, things are just very, very free.
Oh, holy night.
3-part Oh Holy Night delayed. That's not what we're used to based on the traditional carol. So now, suddenly, any preconceptions I might have are gone, which is a good thing. I'm now engaged, I'm focused, it's surprising. Well, not really surprising because it's Pentatonix. Does that work? Can I be surprised but not surprised at the same time because I'm expecting to be surprised? Some structural semblance appears now with this suspension. Scott and Mitch. Scott. Mitch. And Matt, of course, the static foundation underneath. Scott carries on with the melody and then Mitch comes in for some harmony.
It is the night of our dear Savior's birth.
Which in terms of the intrinsic harmony of the carol is standard, but Mitch is just adding a few little embellishments here and there, modernizing it, let's call it that. Then when we get the first clear kind of melody and accompaniment entry, Scott with the melody, the other parts coming in with ooh or It's Matt's part here.
Long lay the world.
Which is exaggerated on because Scott starts his melody on that note. And then moves up to the melody. So we're thinking, hang on, why has he sung this lower note? That lower note is now in our heads. We weren't expecting it. And then Matt comes in on that note. But now he moves down and now dissonance is created. Then back up to where we expect and now back down and the harmony again is standard. I could stop and talk about every single bar or measure here. I'm not going to. We have another version to do after this, and this is 4 minutes long. But hopefully you get the point of what's going on in my head right now, which is it's different, it's unexpected, stylistically, sort of harmonically, but they are keeping fairly traditional. When it comes to traditional carols, I do always kind of think, because they're traditional and they are often religious, that it's a sign of respect to not change them too much, or if you do change them, to do so in a respectful way. Obviously it's subjective, it's opinion. There's two ways to look on it, so please don't focus too much on that, but it's something that I think artists might consider when doing covers or arrangements. So on that note, we do have the standard harmony, i.e. the same chord progression, but with arrangements you change the notes. You might have the note that's typically in the bass part now in the higher part, that kind of thing. So here, Kirsty's part I really liked.
To hear appear.
A very standard jump up, a fifth, but I don't know, I just really liked that.
And the soul felt its worth.
Here, these O's, I was not expecting them to be singing Oh Holy Night underneath. I've had the Oh Holy Night, which was a surprise. It's setting up for a suspension, which is prolonged. Is what you'd expect. Comes there. But then they move straight back up. And now we've got the kind of funky rhythms coming in, changing the style of the song completely. And Matt takes over, which is where we paused, and I'm just gonna assume, based on the recent Pentatonix new performances I've seen, that Scott will be singing the bass because he takes over the bass. So let's carry on. Sir Hairless from the future here. I'm currently editing this video. I filmed the video earlier and then I went out to do some Christmas shopping. I walked through the local Christmas market and look what I heard playing. Joy to the world, now we sing, let the madness songs employ. Joy to the world. Unfortunately, that was a little bit of a spoiler for me, but I did kind of run away after filming that video, so I haven't heard the whole song. All right, back to Oh Holy Night.
When Christ was born. When Christ was born. Oh, night divine. Oh, night. Oh, night divine.
Yeah, this is a strange one in a really, really good way. And yeah, I just could not have predicted on so many different levels what was going to happen. I think, at least for me anyway, who likes to focus on the arrangements, the real skill with Pentatonix and their arranging is how they can maintain a certain feel of a piece of music. This is, you know, it's a really nice piece of music. I think so. It's my favorite carol, as I have said about a million times. And if it was suddenly and then calm and then that would be a bit off-putting, a bit jarring. They are doing so many different things. Just before we paused, suddenly we have these bum. Chromatic. With the beat coming in heavier and the bass falling down. And there are so many stylistic changes, but overall it's such a calming arrangement. To me, this is something that may be overlooked, but I think that's what makes it, or what makes them so good at what they do. Having variety, keeping things interesting, but maintaining the overall feeling of a piece of music. All right, let's go over some of what we've heard. The change to Matt, other than just changing from Scott to Matt with the melody, you might think, oh, it sounds a little bit different now, maybe a bit more regimented rhythmically, and that's because, in short, they implement a fundamental rhythmic change here. I'm not going to go into detail. They've done the similar thing with Grinch or with The Sound of Silence, and I do explain in detail in both of those reactions a bit differently. So please check them out if you haven't already. And if you have, it's the same principle. But to try and summarize very succinctly, Scott's melody, the rhythms we think in, let's just say in threes. Cha-cha-cha, cha-cha-cha. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Bum, 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 bum. But then when we go to Matt, now we're thinking cha, 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 cha. 1, 2, 1, 2. Cha, cha, dum, dum. Very subtle, but we can see and feel the change it makes. And we'll all think of this change as affecting us differently. For me, like I say, I think this is a bit more regimented, maybe a bit more hard-hitting, a bit less smooth or relaxing. But for you, it might be the other way around. And that's one thing I love about music. Again, I'm only fairly recently exposed to Matt, especially with him having solo parts. But with each time I see him, I understand how much of a overall performer he is. He's so much more than just a bass. And in recent reactions, he's actually sung less of the bass, I think, than he has of the melodies. It's been Scott, I think, in the majority of at least some of my recent ones. Anyway, again, the arrangement, we have a small harmonic change, just briefly. Some really nice lines to implement this harmonic change. Mitch. And Kirsty on the top. And if we have Kirsty and Mitch together. I love that. Matt takes the center stage. Mitch is providing the real harmonic accompaniment by flittering between the suspension, the resolve, the suspension, resolve, and now all the other parts come in for this kind of chorus, angelic moment.
When Christ was born.
Okay, and for the complete climax of the song, the top of the chorus, what I said in the introduction about Mitch having it is true, but I was completely wrong in how it happens. Let's take a listen. So, the top note, that is Mitch's note, but it's so calm and controlled compared to Matt, who has the melody, but he's not singing the actual melody, he's singing a harmonic part. And Kirsty as well, she's belting at the top. Again, though, it's not the melody, it's a harmony part. Very clever arrangement, and again, something people might miss, that the melody is in Mitch, and it's the quietest part, essentially. I did receive a comment, which I made a note of, asking about the end of the word divine when Matt is singing. There's a fermata here, which means that the last note of the phrase is prolonged, i.e. rhythmic freedom. The music won't continue until this prolongation is complete. And it was about the sound at the end because Scott comes in a bit later, then descends. And what's interesting is, to answer that particular comment's question, it is Matt who sustains the to the end. Scott comes off a bit earlier, actually. But Matt suddenly descends into the bass voice. On that exhale. And then lovely bit of air from him here.
All night,
There's our key change. Mitch takes over a bit, then Kirsty. As we know, they seamlessly transition with each other. And as I mentioned, just when I pause, we now have some textural changes. Boom, boom, booms coming in. Very intrigued what we'll see for the final section here. It could be anything. Mitch, Scott, Oh, well, that was a roller coaster at the end. Ugh, the unexpectedness. Why? Why? Now, before we go over the final points, and please don't come at me in the comments here. It's difficult when I make these videos to sometimes say things that I maybe don't agree with in terms of stylistic decisions with performances, arrangements. We all have different opinions on music, and that's completely fine. No one opinion is better or worth more than another. I hear the music, I talk about the music, and then I talk about how it makes me feel. Overall, absolutely incredible performance. I'm going to listen to this many, many more times, and I will probably give it an extremely high rating. If you don't watch my ratings videos, maybe consider them checking out, because my rating might be quite different to what you think based on my reaction. So this will be the only not huge compliment that I'm going to give. We get Kirsty going up for this climax, belting it out. Unbelievable. I think my eyes were starting to tear up a little bit before that, actually, which shows how affected I was by this arrangement. But then this 5 or so seconds that follows, for me, I don't think it's needed. But maybe because I tend to be a bit of a traditionalist. I've grown up singing a lot of these hymns, these carols. So I think it's just a bit of a shock to the system hearing this. And definitely the unexpectedness plays a part. But I completely see why it's here, because this is how I was feeling at this point. Okay, it stopped. What's going to happen next? And then combined with the imagery, this is kind of shocking. Just Scott suddenly so calm after this this wall of sound, as I know it's called. So I completely see why they've done it. But for me, that's the only thing that I personally don't agree with. However, the arrangement for that part that I don't agree with is still unbelievable, and many bits before. So let's just go over a few final points before then hopping over to the older version with Avi. I was loving Matt's bass part. It's quite jumpy now, very boom, boom, you know, typical of a cappella. As I'm listening to that, the bass part then comes out. Leading into a Mitch climax, yes, we got it. I think it would have been sacrilege if they didn't have that in here somewhere. Structurally changed, harmonically changed. It's different. We have the Mitch climax, but what follows is, yeah, not to be expected. Or again, is it to be expected because it's unexpected? Shout out to Scott here because incredible. And I haven't mentioned Kevin at all, other than kind of passively about the rhythmic changes. Kevin, mate, I'm wary of this video being too long, but you're unbelievable. The bass part there as well. Oh, boom, boom. These jumps that we heard Avi do so much. Chromatic there actually as well. I was thinking, is Scott going to go up to the climax melody? It's very, very high, but then Kirsty takes over and then they all change together. And then just before the Kirsty moment I spoke about, we just see more changes rhythmically, structurally. Well, I can certainly see why that one was recommended to me so heavily. I've probably seen a lot less of Pentatonix than most of you watching, and certainly a lot less of Matt. But from the chronology that I've seen and the handful of performances that I've seen from the Matt era, I am really, really noticing their stylistic changes, the changes in arrangement, their growth, how they're doing things now compared to back when they were with Avi. Since my first reaction to Pentatonix, I've seen loads of comments of people saying they prefer the Matt era, others saying they prefer the Avi era. I definitely have my personal preferences in both. Some things that they do with Avi I prefer, and other things I see with Matt I prefer. And that's why I'm looking forward to my future with reacting to Pentatonix on this channel, because I'll be able to dip from the Avi era to the Matt era, experience the same group essentially, but completely different music and arrangement choices. It's exciting. It's exciting. And yeah, I really, really love this. Gonna listen to this a lot more, and I'm sure I'll get many more goosebumps in doing so. All right, time to hop into the Yule log version. If you want to see my reaction to that, head on to the link down below. As always, thank you very much for watching. Would appreciate a like and subscribe. Comment down below your favorite Pentatonix songs. It's nearly Christmas. I'll be having hot chocolates for Christmas, so if you'd like to donate me one or two, you can do so at the Buy Me a Coffee linked below. And if you'd like to see my other full videos with additional reactions, exclusive content where you can vote on polls, head over to the Patreon linked on the screen now. I wish you a very Merry Christmas, and I will see you next time.